17 Cherry Tree Lane was the home of the Banks family in which film musical set in London? Claudia.
Mary Poppins.
In August 1979, a leading dancer with the Bolshoi Ballet defected while on tour. Tony?
Rudolph Nureyev?
No, while on tour in the U.S., what was his name? Fernie? It was Alexander Goodenough. In which U.S. city is the Cotton Bowl football stadium? Tony?
Houston.
No, Fernie. Roland?
New Orleans.
It is Dallas. With what product should you associate the names Pembina and Selkirk? Wheat, Kamloops 10, Fernie nothing. In tonight's Zone 2 Championship on Reach for the Top.
Reach for the Top is brought to you in part by the province of British Columbia.
Zone 2 is your host and quizmaster, Terry Garner.
Thank you. Well, here we are with the big one as far as the interior teams of BC are concerned. It is championship night for Zone 2. We have on hand the only undefeated teams that remain from that zone, and they are Kamloops and Fernie. Here are the students for Kamloops: Tony Ryan, Jim Ward, Steve Reese, and Claudia Priest. Here's Fernie: Arthur Sombrowski, Roland Milligan, Olav Boersma, and Alan Furlong. So let's have at it, shall we? I have a 30-point open question. Try these questions on wars. All of the wars are named by a length of time. Which war saw Frederick the Great's Prussia confronted by a coalition of Sweden, Russia, France, and Austria? Claudia?
That was the 30 Years' War?
No, it wasn't. Fernie? It was the 7 Years' War. Which 1967 war saw Israel defeat? Alan?
70 War.
No. Israel defeat an alliance of Arab nations. Tony?
The 6-Day War.
It was the 6-Day War. What is the name given to the series of Franco-English wars of Olaf?
100-Year War.
You're right, of the 14th and 15th centuries. I have a 35-point regular question now, and this is the scramble. With what actor do you associate the film roles of Tully Bascom, Chance, and Dr. Strangelove? Steve?
Peter Sellers.
I should think so. Kamloops, these questions. Sellers' rise to stardom began with a radio series in which he starred with Harry Seacombe and Spike Milligan.
The Goon
What
Show?
was that series? You're right. One satiric TV show featured John Cleese, Ronnie Corbett, and Ronnie Barker. The show's host went on to fame in the U.S. What is his name? David Frost. Popular opinion forced the BBC to resume production of one TV series after a handful of episodes. What was that series?
Monty Python.
Yes, it was The Flying Circus. Here's a 30-pointer. The question is open. The subject, ancient civilizations. The Aztecs in Mexico mistook Cortez for the god king they believed would appear. Who was the Aztec ruler at that time, Steve Reese? Too long. Fernie, Alan?
Montezuma.
You're right. Helen's beauty caused the fall of Troy and the launching of 1,000 ships. What was the name of the Greek hero who was her husband? Roland?
Achilles.
No. Tony?
Paris.
Menelaus. The Almagest was a series of 13 volumes on astronomy compiled by a Greek astronomer around 140 A.D. Who was he, Olav?
Socrates.
No. Kamloops, Jim?
Ptolemy.
It was Ptolemy. Let's have a look at our score. Kamloops has 55. Fernie has 20. I have a 25-pointer. Here's the scramble. Name the poet who wrote the words to Auld Lang Syne. Jim?
Robert Burns.
Right you are. Edmund Spenser wrote a famous poem in honor of Queen Elizabeth I.
The Fairy Queen.
That's the one. Paul Revere's Ride is the theme of a celebrated American ballad. Who wrote it?
Longfellow.
Which one?
Longfellow.
Longfellow is right. Henry, Wadsworth, and Longfellow. I have a who am I question. That means a possible 40 points. Here is the first clue. I was born in Pennsylvania in the year 1929, educated at Wake Forest College. From 1950 to 1953, I served in the U.S. Coast Guard. The second clue. My father was a golf instructor, and I took up the game at the age of 3. In 1954, I won. Roland.
Arnold Palmer.
That score is 30 for Fernie. Good for you. 25-pointer now. Scramble on this. Igneous rocks are formed by solidification. If it happens deep in the earth, what is the name of the liquid? Solidified, Tony.
Magma.
That's right. Kamloops, with respect to sedimentary rocks, what does the term lithification mean? That is, lithification. Anybody? Solidifying of the sediment. Hardness is an important property of minerals. What is the name of the hardness scale
Points.
on which diamond is 10 and talc is 1? It is what?
Points.
No, it's the Mohs hardness scale. Well, watch your monitors. Questions about BC sites and a total of 40 points. First, identify this national park located in BC. Tony.
Pacific Rim.
That's right. What is this health spa on Kootenai National Park? Roland.
Radium Hot Springs.
Where in BC was this picture taken? Tony?
Victoria.
No. Fernie, Olaf?
Vancouver.
It's Campbell River. That was a big salmon. This recreated Indian village is on the Skeena River near what community? Tony?
Hazelton.
Hazelton is right. You did well with that one. I wonder if you do well with this one. It's a 45-pointer, regular. Here is the scramble. In 1861, this country was born by a union of Wallachia and Moldavia. After World War I, it acquired Bessarabia and Transylvania. What country is it? Roland.
Romania.
Good. Fernie. Romania borders on what large body of water?
Caspian Sea.
Black Sea. One of the largest bombing raids of World War II was at Ploiești in Romania. What was the target? Oil refineries. Romania is Europe's second largest producer of oil. Can you name the book said to be based on the life of a tyrannical 15th century ruler of Wallachia? The author is Bram Stoker.
Dracula.
It is. Two of the world's foremost athletes at the moment are Romanians. One is a tennis star. The other is a gymnast. Who are they?
Here is a bulletin from CBC News. There are reports now that Ayatollah Khomeini has accepted the latest American offer for release of the hostages in Iran. An official statement is expected from Tehran shortly after 11 o'clock tonight Eastern Time. We'll have details as they develop. Once again, there are reports Ayatollah Khomeini has agreed to the latest U.S. proposal for the release of the American hostages in Iran. This has been a bulletin from CBC News.
Are the characters Hotspur, Glendower, and Prince Hal? No takers? Henry IV, Part 1. Where would you find Rosinante, Carabasco, and Sancho Panza? Steve?
Don Quixote.
You're right. 40-pointer on biology. I'll give you the name of a muscle. You tell me its location in the body. The body's strongest muscle, the masseter. It's found where, Arthur?
In the leg.
No. It is, Tony?
Thigh.
It's in the jaw, between the lower jaw and the cheekbone. How about the intercostal muscles? Roland.
The ribs.
Right. Rib cage or between the ribs. The latissimus dorsal is found where? Olaf?
Backbone.
All right, lower half of the back, or small of the back. And triceps brachii. Roland.
The back of your arm. Right here.
Good. Okay. 25-pointer. It's a regular question. And here is the scramble. In the tale created by Dr. Seuss, how many hats did Bartholomew Roland? 5-point penalty for Fernie. Here's the question for Kamloops. In the tale created by Dr. Seuss, how many hats did Bartholomew Cubbins wear? Claudia.
500.
How many?
500.
That's right. While in the major leagues, what was the total number of home runs hit by Babe Ruth? Some other numbers here.
714.
No, 730. I'm not sure that figure, as a matter of fact, Tom.
No.
Could you check it? I think the answer I have is incorrect. The number of home runs hit by Babe Ruth. What does the distance 4 feet 8.5 inches mean to the transportation industry? It is the standard railroad track gauge. Score is Kamloops 130, Fernie 105. And that brings us to our special in tonight's playoff. The students are about to do some brainstorming. That means individual expressions, brief individual expressions, and a possible 50 points at the discretion of our judges. Could go to either or both teams. All right, here's the topic, students. Have we become too dependent on the automobile? Who'd like to go first? Any takers? I'll go with Arthur Sombrowski of Fernie.
We are not too dependent on the automobile, and our dependence as we have it now has to continue, because if it didn't, the automotive industry would shut down, and then thousands of people would be off work, and this would severely hurt the Canadian economy.
And it could be a long way to walk from Fernie to Vancouver.
There's many examples of this in Quebec and Ontario right now with Chrysler and GM.
Thank you. Let's go up to your counterpart on the Kamloops team, Tony Ryan.
Our so-called necessary dependence on the automobile could be the end of our civilization. With the pollution we are pumping out from the hundreds of millions of automobiles, it doesn't matter whether you're going to be able to work because you won't be able to breathe.
Okay, Tony. Back to Fernie and Roland.
The pollution in a while will not be any, because we'll be burning hydrogen and all the new fuels, electricity. We don't have to depend on gasoline, so we are not really dependent on automobiles.
Maybe we can burn leaves or something like that. Let's get a woman's point of view here, and the only one in the teams is Claudia Priest of Kamloops.
I feel that we've become too dependent on the automobile, because if you look around us, it's such an important part of our culture, which isn't really necessary. It's a sort of distorted image. Advertising puts too much emphasis on things like metaphors and gimmicks instead of mileage statistics, and it's a status symbol. People think they're better if they own a Corvette rather than the Japanese runabout.
All right, Claudia, let's go to Olaf Boersma now.
Okay, everyone's saying negative, but everybody in Canada nearly has a car. It's just more convenient. It's everything's better about it. It's comfortable. It's cheaper than going by plane. You can go from Fernie to Vancouver a lot cheaper that way. It's just very, very convenient.
And you need it for drive-in movies, don't you?
Right.
Kamloops team now, and Steve Rees.
I believe that we do not depend too much on the automobile. Many people would argue that it is unhealthy, like most people don't walk rather than drive a car. But I would disagree with that now. Jogging, swimming, and all this other has become very popular, and the automobile has been relinquished to a position of just basically a time saver, which lets time be used in other more useful and more productive means.
Alan Furlong, have you got a comment on this subject?
Well, with the automobile, people can get more places and do more things that can enrich their lives. They can go to more cultural things like operas and drive-ins.
So far, all right. So far, the opinion seems to be fairly evenly divided, pro and con. And Jim Ward, I think you're the only one we haven't heard from.
In my opinion, we have not become too dependent on the automobile. The main thing that distinguishes human beings from animals is ingenuity, and the automobile is just another example of how people are able to change their environment for betterment of themselves. Furthermore, the automobile is a base for preparation for future advancements along the same lines, and there are prospects for the future. People complain about fuel running out and pollution.
Jim, right here, our time has run out, and I think on that triumphant note, we'll conclude the brainstorming on the subject, have we become too dependent on the automobile? Over to our judges now for scoring. We'll be back with more championship action in just a moment.
Most British Columbians want the opportunity to work, including people on income assistance, young people getting a new start, single mothers on the way to independence, people finding their own road to the future. British Columbia's Individual Opportunity Plan helps people on income assistance find their own independence. The Individual Opportunity Plan offers a chance, and that's the British Columbia way. Contact your Human Resources office today.
Choices in education are choices for your future. Ask your school or college counselor.
On our brainstorming special, our judges have seen fit to award a high point total to both teams, and I think that's proper. 40 to Kamloops, 40 to Fernie. And now, just before we get back to our questions, I have another adjustment to make. Babe Ruth hit 714 career home runs, and I don't know how in the world I got the answer here of 730. That was 714, the answer given me by Tony Ryan of Kamloops. So an adjustment in the score as we now proceed with Kamloops showing 170, now 180, and Fernie 145. All right, short snappers for 10 points each. Christopher Wren's epitaph reads, "Reader, if you seek a memorial, look about you. Where is his tomb?" It is St. Paul's Cathedral in London. In World War I, with what powers was Italy aligned? Roland?
Germany, and then it switched.
No. Kamloops. Tony?
The Allied forces?
It was the Allied powers, Great Britain and France. When the Titanic went down, the ship's band was supposedly playing what hymn? Arthur?
Old Lang Syne?
No. Kamloops? It was Nearer, My God, to Thee. What is the longest book in the Bible? The longest book. Jim Ward?
Chronicles?
No. Fernie, Arthur?
Exodus?
It is the book of Psalms. I have a 25-pointer. The question is regular. Here's the scramble. What is the capital city of Zimbabwe? Steve? Too long. Fernie? It is Salisbury. 30-point open question. For 10 points each, give me the meaning of the following Latin phrases. How's your Latin? We'll find out. Caveat emptor means, Roland.
Let the buyer beware.
How about non compos mentis? Steve?
Insane, not able to comprehend.
Yes, not of sound mind. And ad nauseum means, Tony?
Goes on forever.
No. Fernie, ad nauseum means to a sickening or disgusting degree. I hope it doesn't go on forever. Here's a 40-point open question for landmarks. What is the name of the coral reef extending along the coast of Arthur?
Great Barrier Reef?
Along the coast of Queensland. Name the pass high in the hills between Pakistan and Afghanistan. Arthur again.
Khyber Pass?
In what city can you see the statue called the Little Mermaid? The city, Steve?
Stockholm?
No. Fernie? Arthur?
Copenhagen?
It is. What is the Australian frontier or bushland commonly called? Jim?
Great Sandy Desert?
No. Fernie? Alan?
Outback.
It is the Outback. The score is now close. Kamloops has 200. Fernie has 195. I have a French question, total of 40 points. The theme is hockey. For 10 points each, what do the following hockey terms mean in English?
Hors-jeu.
Olaf. Again, please, for Kamloops.
Hors-jeu.
It means offside. Here's the next.
Mise au jeu.
Olaf.
Onside?
No. Again.
Mise au jeu.
Tony?
Shutout?
No, it's face-off. Here's the third.
Dégagement illégal.
Roland.
Penalty?
No. Sounds like, doesn't it? But it isn't. For Kamloops, once more.
Dégagement illégal.
Tony.
Illegal check?
No, that's icing. And you'll be happy to know there's only one left.
Lancer.
Roland.
Lancing? Jabbing?
No. For Kamloops.
Shot?
Lancer.
No, it's to shoot. No points on that one. Here's a 30-point open question. Identify the following well-known generals for 10 points each. What was the nickname for Charles S. Stratton, one of P.T. Barnum's crowd-drawing attractions? Tony?
General Tom Thumb?
That's right. Which World War II general of the U.S. Army later became chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff? Tony?
MacArthur?
No. Fernie, the general was Alan?
Patton?
It was General Omar Bradley. We have less than 5 minutes. Which British general became a national hero for his exploits in China and his ill-fated defense of Khartoum? He was Roland?
Montgomery?
No. General Gordon. How about some art? A total of 30 points on this one. Watch your monitors. For 10 points each, identify the famous subjects of these paintings. Here's the first one. Jim.
Churchill.
Right, by Graham Sutherland. Hold it.
Sorry.
How about this one now? Arthur.
Napoleon?
No, again for Kamloops. Jim?
Burns?
It was Beau Brummel. And here's a self-portrait to wind up the set. Canadian artist, Tony?
Pablo Picasso?
No, a Canadian artist. There it is for Fernie. It is Norval Morrisseau, the fine Indian artist. Here's a 25-point regular question. And here's a scramble for you. With what outdoor sport would you associate the Canadian and world champion, Susan Nattrass? Arthur.
Cross-country skiing?
No. Kamloops, Tony?
Badminton?
It is trap shooting. So, we'll try this one. Another 25-pointer. And Here's the scramble. Who was the founder of Victoria, or Fort Victoria, as it was then? Tony Ryan.
Douglas?
It was Douglas. These questions for Kamloops. Who was the founder of Fort George, now Prince George?
Mackenzie.
Simon Fraser. Trail was originally a cluster of small buildings on the Columbia River. Why was it called Trail?
A trail went through there.
Yes, but what trail? It's the Dewdney Trail, where it forded the river. We have 3 minutes to go, and I think if we work it properly, we can do our spellers right in here. 10 points for each word you spell correctly, and we have, of course, one for each of you. Tony, yours is, these are all D words, incidentally. Yours is, and you can't write them down, daffodil.
D-A-F-F-O-D-I-L.
You didn't have to write it down, did you? Arthur, your word is domicile, in the sense of a home or dwelling. Domicile.
D-O-M-I-C-L-E.
I-C-I-L-E. That's too bad. Jim Ward, it's the flower, dahlia.
D-E-L-L-I-A.
Oh, no, it isn't. D-A-H-L-I-A. For Roland Milligan, decorous.
D-E-C-A-R-U-S.
O-R-O-U-S. Delicatessen is a tough one. Steve Rees, can you handle it?
D-E-L-I-C-A-T-E-S-S-E-N.
That's marvelous. You're right on the money with that. Deterrent for Olav.
D-E-T-E-R-E-N-T.
Double R-E-N-T for deterrent. Dilemma for Claudia.
D-E-L-I-M.
D-I, Claudia. L-E-M-M-A. Alan Furlong, yours is a small boat. It's a dinghy.
D-I-N-G-Y.
G-H-Y. Tricky word. Score is Kamloops 245. Fernie 195. We do not have much time left, and we're going to go now to our short snappers. Who wrote the plays Watch on the Rhine and The Little Foxes? Author? William Hellman. What is the square root of 529? Tony?
27.
No. Fernie. Arthur? It is 23. What strait separates Taiwan from mainland China? Arthur?
Sea of Japan?
No. Kamloops, Jim Ward?
The Formosa Strait?
It is. Of the 32 teeth in the adult Homo sapiens, how many are molars? Roland?
8.
No. Jim?
6.
There are 12. We have 1 minute to go. Who was the 6th and final wife of Henry VIII? Roland?
Mary.
No, it wasn't. Kamloops, Claudia?
Catherine Parr.
That's right. In what English town did Lady Godiva make her famous ride? Jim Ward?
Birmingham?
No, it wasn't. Roland?
London.
It was Coventry. Who wrote the prophetic 1908 novel War in the Air? Author? H.G. Wells. In days of yore, monks brewed a strong beer to compensate for a lack of heartier fare during... Olaf?
Mead?
No, during which period in the church year, Kamloops? Tony Ryan?
Lent?
It was Lent. What is the class of animals whose name means having 2 lives? Jim Ward? All right. Fernie, do you know, Roland?
Butterflies?
It's amphibia. The names Adam, Sheraton, and Hepplewhite are associated with what branch of design? It is furniture. There's the bell. End of the game. Score, Kamloops, 275. Fernie, 195. And because this is a championship, we're going to check the figures carefully. We'll be back with our Zone 2 champion in just a moment.
It's January clearance time at J. Collins Furniture Gallery. Save 15 to 50%. Beautiful bedroom and dining room suites by Hendron, Thomasville, and other top manufacturers. Occasional furniture in hardwood, solids, and veneers. Bookcases, leather chairs, credenzas, and curio cabinets. Come and see our fine quality upholstered sofas and chairs. Save 15 to 50%. J. Collins Furniture Gallery in Burnaby, a half block west of the Sheraton Villa Hotel.
From Grassy's, Forever Fashions. Diamond solitaires, each one a love story, each exquisitely cut, masterfully set. When you love someone, you want to show it, and our diamond solitaires show it from the heart. Forever beautiful, forever yours.
Forever yours, Grassy's.
I have a small adjustment in the score in favor of the apparent winners. Shot was close enough to shoot to score 10. more for Kamloops and Tony Ryan, and now the score is official. Kamloops with 285, Fernie 195. The winner and our new Zone 2 champion, Kamloops. Here they are once again, Tony Ryan, Jim Ward, Steve Reese, and Claudia Priest. Let's hear it for this year's runner-up team, the Fernie foursome of Arthur Sombrowski, Roland Milligan, Olaf Boersma, and Alan Furlong. Now, I'm going to ask the captain of the Fernie team, Arthur Sombrowski, to come down to center stage, where Mr. Angus Ree, MLA for North Vancouver, Capilano, has a $200 bonus scholarship award for the Fernie team. Captain of our zone champions now, Kamloops, Tony Ryan is on his way down for a $400 scholarship award. Once again, Mr. Ree has the check and now makes the presentation. As our winners, Kamloops now goes on the shelf to await our playoffs next spring. Next week, we continue with zone number 3, and I hope we see you then on Reach for the Top.
Reach for the Top was brought to you by the province of British Columbia.
This is CBC.
If you're in the need for a light truck, we have them for you. Here, indoors at Brown Brothers Ford, we have Broncos, 4x4 pickups, and of course vans. And remember, Ford trucks are built tough to stay tough. Model features such as double wall construction, twin I-beam suspension, and a 3-year corrosion warranty. So if it's a light truck you want, take a look at our Broncos and our pickups and our vans here at Brown Brothers Ford, 40th, 42nd, and West Boulevard.
When you want things to develop fast, bring your film to Lens and Shutter. Right now, we're having a special offer. For every roll of color film you have processed at Lens and Shutter, we'll give you a coupon. Good for a 5x7 color enlargement of your favorite color negative. That's a $2.50 value, and it's yours at no extra charge when you bring your film to Lens and Shutter.
You want some good advice? Shop Lens and Shutter. Lens and Shutter.
During Cerdell Carpet's January clearance sale, you'll find fantastic savings on carpet.